Hey everyone, welcome back to I Know a Guy. I'm Anthony, and this is the podcast where connections thrive. Each episode, we spotlight inspiring entrepreneurs, professionals, and individuals doing amazing things. Together, we'll grow your circle, spark collaborations, and discover new opportunities. Today, we're meeting Lisa D. She's a CPA, MBA, and mindset coach who helps analytical professionals lead with confidence, clarity, and authenticity. After 25 years in high-pressure corporate roles, she founded Boundless Potential Coaching to help others succeed without burning out or losing themselves in the process. How are you doing today, Lisa?
I'm doing great. How are you, Anthony?
Fantastic. I can't complain. It's been a little hot, the last hurrah from the summer, so I'm really looking forward to it to knock it off. Let's get down to the 70s where I'm comfortable, but other than that, can't complain. Really enjoyed our last conversation. You're doing a lot of cool things. You're helping a lot of people, and there's a lot of folks out there that would benefit from knowing you. So to start off, where are you calling in from? Where are you located?
I'm in Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay. You been there for a while, or are you newer to the area?
I have been here my whole life. My family's here. We're entrenched. We have deep roots here.
I get that. Okay, so you have your haunts. If you have some friends coming into town that have never been before, where are you going? What are you doing? And what's for dinner?
I'd love to take them around to show them what Cleveland has to offer because Cleveland always seems to get a bad rap, kind of a joke of a town, and it's really not true. We've got the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We have the Great Lakes Science Center. We've got all the major sports teams if you're interested in the Cavs, the Browns, or the Guardians. And plus, we're right on Lake Erie, right? One of the greatest lakes around. And it's so beautiful, especially this time of year, to just go down there and gaze out for hours. It's a great time to just chill out and enjoy kind of what nature has here naturally for us.
As far as dinner goes, is there like a go-to you like to take people out to try, or is there you more like, hey, we're going to cook at home and then we're going to go out?
I am not one for cooking, so I would take any opportunity to let somebody else that's a professional do the cooking. We have a couple of wineries in the area that have some really excellent food, so that would probably be one choice. And then we're not too far from this area we call Little Italy. And as you may guess, the name implies a lot of great Italian food. And so probably one of those two places would be where I'd hit up.
Awesome. Well, typically, what I've been asking people at this point is, what do you do? But I think I'm going to start rephrasing it because I read something somewhere, and I really like this approach to it. So we'll ask it this other way moving forward. How do you help people?
How do I help people? I help people get out of their own way. A lot of people that I meet and many of my clients, they come to me with like a very ingrained kind of tunnel vision of who they are, what they can do, what they can't do. And I want to take the blinders off. So I'm the person that helps them kind of remove those glasses that they may put on themselves that think, hey, I can only do this, or I'm only good at this, or I need to kind of stay in my lane. And so that's what I would say I do for people is really to question some things that you've maybe thought for a long time or believed for a long time. And are they really true and accurate? Were they ever true and accurate, first of all? And are they true and accurate today? And so I really ask people to dream, right? To think what is possible instead of thinking from a limited space of, oh, let me just see what's on the menu. Throw the menu out. Create your own meal. Create your own kind of path of where you want to go and kind of forget what was pre-printed and printed on the menu.
That's awesome. How'd you get started doing this? Is this what you wanted to do in high school, or was there a story to that?
No, definitely not. In high school and for many years in my life, I was kind of like that shy, quiet, sort of introverted person that just, I had friends and social life, but for me, I kind of think I played it really small, right? I didn't want a lot of attention. And when I worked, I liked to kind of keep to myself and, maybe work in small groups, that sort of thing. I didn't like being in front of big groups. I never liked networking. Anything that involved like a huge kind of social push was kind of uncomfortable for me. And I know one of the things that I really didn't like was public speaking. And then in the last few years, I've really gotten into that in a huge way. I could never have imagined when I was a teenager that I'd be doing what I'm doing now. When I was a teenager, I was thinking, what do I like to do? And honestly, I didn't know. I kind of figured it out in the middle of my college years that I liked numbers and I liked business. So let's do accounting, right? That seems like a good combination. And I was always very organized, methodical in my thinking and kind of how I operated. And so that's the path I decided to choose. But later in life, I had a number of epiphanies and kind of what I was mentioning earlier opened my eyes, kind of took some blinders off. And I was like, wow, I've been playing really small in my life. And so let's let's not. What do I really want to do? So I asked myself kind of some tough questions. And that's when I eventually, a couple of steps got into coaching. I got coaching myself and it really changed how I think. And it sounds like, oh, really? That sounds really strange, Lisa, but that's actually what happened. It changed how I think. And it's, I was kind of in green thinking for decades. And it's like, okay, I can open my mind to something different. And I think that's kind of the power of a good coach or good coaching program is it gets you to really change how you think, open your mind, and widen your perspectives on things.
That's awesome. What is it that you love most about what you're doing?
It's seeing my clients have aha moments, seeing them have a transformation. And it could be like a very subtle thing. I remember getting on a call with one of my clients, and nothing new, we meet routinely. There was some small shift that happened in him. He was kind of a tortured person, so to speak, right? He always had a lot of like heavy thoughts, a lot of things might bother him. He'd be down on himself. And we got on this call, and I was like, you actually seem like you're at peace. Like, I don't sense a lot of angst or stress or whatever with you. He goes, yeah, I actually am. And so sometimes it's like a really subtle change. And then other times we do like a reflection where it's like, well, here's where we are today. But do you remember when we first started working together maybe months ago? You used to think this, you used to do this when this happened at work or whatever. It's kind of seeing, yeah, I don't even think that way anymore, right? And it's sometimes hard to explain what I do to people because it could be a really subtle shift and it's not always like a visible thing, right? There's something that just changes in the way we think and operate.
Who are the people that you best serve?
For me, I think it's people very much like myself, where I was for years before I kind of had my sort of, revelations a number of years ago. It's people that feel stuck, that this is all there is to life, that there's only so much available for them. Even though they're super talented, have a lot of wisdom, experience, skills, all these things, they kind of have this closed vision. And so I think I relate really well to people that are highly analytical because that's how I've always been. So sometimes you might think accountants, engineers, those type of people, where they kind of think very logically. And there's a lot of things in life that aren't logical. And so we sometimes can't process them. And so we don't process them. And so I really work with them to, hey, let's take a look at this and talk about this. Things aren't always going to be logical and why. And let's figure this out. And sometimes we're used to like a certain level of, this is how my life is. I'm
I think it
moderately
froze.
happy, but we could be a lot more. We could be more fulfilled. We could be more satisfied. We could be enjoying our day to day life more. How do we do that? So I think those are really the people I work with. Oftentimes they have many years of experience. Maybe they've been in a corporate job or own a business for a number of years, but they've been typically sort of staying in a similar place for a long time and maybe feel a little stuck.
Okay. It froze for about 15 seconds there. So I'm thinking that it probably recorded on your end and we should be fine, but I'll let you know. But other than that, I'm
Okay,
just making
that's
a
fine.
note here that when I go back to edit it, that I'll check it. Anyway, okay. Well, what is your average power partner? Like, what are some other professionals or professions out there that you can synergize really well with and refer back and forth with?
That's a really great question. I think some of the most successful kind of collaborations I've had could be with people working with people at the same stage that I am. So I have a colleague that we do a lot of referrals back and forth, and he's kind of in the job change space, either job or career change space. So a lot of times clients come to me when they're kind of at a fork in the road, like they either want a new job or they're thinking about changing careers. So he's also meeting them in that same place. So somebody like that, and even people that are maybe HR professionals that are working with people, maybe that are bringing somebody new in, or maybe they want to promote somebody into like a bigger role, but maybe they're not quite ready. So sometimes HR people run into a lot of people in a place of transition, so it's working with them. So I think those are probably two of the best kind of referral partners for me.
What advice would you give to a new or an aspiring entrepreneur?
Don't give up. I think there's a lot of days where you feel like, what am I doing? Right? And should I have done this? I'm not saying you can't question, did I make a good choice or whatever, but just keep going, right? I think sometimes we're thinking we want to see results faster, we want to see something faster, and that's not how things work all the time. You have to keep planting those little seeds, and it could be over a long period of time before you really see something. And so I would encourage them to keep going. Don't get overly frustrated. Make a decision, whatever it is, good or bad. And if it works out, great. If it doesn't, you learn something. Part of it is letting go to the fact of, oh, I really wanted this to work and it didn't. So it's just keep going with it. And then, find your tribe of people, right? And a mentor or somebody maybe that's, you could kind of go on the journey with you also, that's maybe also starting out new. You could share stories, lessons that you learned along the way. I would just say, just keep going at it and don't feel like after a few months, this isn't for me, I'm out, right? You're just an infant, right, in the stage. Give some time to grow, just stick with it.
Absolutely. No, a lot of people think overnight success is a real thing, and it's not. No, overnight success is something that took 10 years to get to.
Yeah, right. It's a long overnight.
Yeah, it is. So over a lot of nights, but awesome. Well, why you? What sets what you're doing apart from everybody else out there that might be doing something similar?
That's a great question. I think for me, it's how I've been able to niche, being there in the actual frame of mind that a lot of people are that I'm helping, and also making it really practical and easy to understand. Sometimes I think when you work with somebody in our field, it's kind of maybe feels really out there. And what I try to do is make it very tangible, practical, doable with my suggestions. I mean, I work with a lot of people that if it isn't black and white, they're not buying into it. So I really have to make it something that they can glob onto right away. Like, oh, okay, I have to sort of appeal to their logic initially, give them a lot of analogies or examples to help them see something that maybe isn't super logical, but that they could sort of, fit it into their logical mold so they can understand and start, trying to work with the idea and try to make the change. So I think for me, it's boiling it down to something that's very doable, very actionable that you can still get results with.
Awesome. I know we could probably spend a lot longer talking about any of the areas where you best help, but in general, is there anything that I missed or failed to ask that you wanted to add?
No, I don't think there's a lot that we missed. I have a lot of great initiatives that are coming out in the next couple of months. I'm writing a book with a business partner of mine. I've got a keynote coming up next month. I'm rolling out a new group coaching program. So just I ask people reach out, connect with me, stay tuned with what's happening with me. And if you have any questions, I love helping people, even if it's, a 15-minute conversation and whatever. It doesn't mean you have to become a client, is just having that conversation. If I could talk to somebody for a short period of time and help them out, I'm thrilled to do that. So I encourage people just to reach out to me. I'm not scary, I'm not salesy or whatever all those things are. And I'd be happy to help somebody if I could.
For those that want to, what's the best way they get a hold of you? Where can they find you?
I think the best way to reach me is probably LinkedIn messaging or to drop me an email. Those are the two places that, I'm checking into the most. And that's where you can probably find the most out about me.
Perfect. If anybody would like to get a hold of Lisa, do it. I'm going to put all that in the show notes, so it's super easy to find. Reach out, have the conversation. You're going to be better off for having it. She's the exact same in a one-to-one as she is here, so don't be shy. And if anybody would like to get a hold of me, you can visit me at ikag.me. You can find more episodes, subscribe to our newsletter, and connect with our growing community of awesome people like Lisa. If you were somebody you know would like to be interviewed, you can also apply on the website. But thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate you taking the time to, kind of pour into us and, talk about how you serve people. You're helping a lot of folks, and they're all better for knowing you. So I really appreciate that. Let's all go have an awesome day and grow our circles. All right.
Sounds great. Thanks for having me on, Anthony. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.